Hey, what's up, everyone? It is day 333. For those of you who are dyslexic out there, this is perfect because I'm dyslexic, so this was easy for me to remember this day. It is November 29th. I don't know why I started off with that, but you know what? We got to start off with a good laugh every day, every once in a while. Every once in a while. This is Zoe. You guys know Zoe. She's the intern. She's the coffee maker at GC Woodinville. She sings. She does a lot of things. And I'm the worship pastor at Gold Creek Woodinville.
Yep.
So glad to have you guys here again. Whatever time of day it is for you. Hope you got your coffee because coffee is an all-day drink.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what time it is. So get your coffee.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into the Bible. We're going to dive into Daniel today.
Yeah.
This verse is probably one of the most popular verses in the Bible. One of the popular stories in the Bible when Daniel gets thrown in the lion's den. Super good. So much to learn from it. If you guys don't know a little bit of the backstory, right? When you start off the story with Daniel, he's starting to get put as an administrator with the king and kind of being like a high supervisor. Other people, they're not liking that. They're like, no, this is not cool. Like, what the heck? Why is this Daniel guy coming in and why does he get to be a supervisor?
Yeah.
So what they start to do is they try to find faults in Daniel.
Right.
Like, how can we get this guy kicked out of office, basically?
They found out that he's kind of like not perfect, but close to perfect. He didn't have a lot of things that, they could complain about.
And like, honestly,
didn't like him.
even right there, I feel like the Bible's already preaching, right? It's like we see people, and like everyone's got their thing, right? Everyone's got the sins. We were just joking about this before we were recording. Like, I'm a pastor. We work in churches. We're not perfect. We have our things. We have our sins. And it's like if someone were to just sit there and nitpick all my flaws right now and try to get me kicked out of my position that God is calling me to do. And right now Daniel's appointed into a position and people are trying to do the same thing to him.
Yeah.
So trying to find all these things, trying to get him, trying to do a gotcha moment with Daniel. They can't do it. Nope. So finally they're like, hey, there's this law that the king has where you can't worship other gods that the king doesn't worship. So they know that Daniel worships the God of, Jacob, the God of Abraham, and the God that we speak of in the Bible. And they're like, hey, king, that's your law. You need to bust this dude.
Right. Which is funny because the king didn't actually want him killed.
Yeah. So like, as you start to read it, like the king's kind of like, he's like, oh, I don't really want to do this. Like, so they're like, we need to kill this guy. King's not really excited about it.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about
they believe in different gods. I think that's interesting.
Well, so we were talking about this too. I feel that the king, he's probably just like in this moment of like struggle. Maybe he's seen Daniel and the way he interacts with God and seeing the prayers of God and seeing the visions of God. And, if you look back in the other verses, right, God has done some miracles through Daniel.
Yeah.
And maybe the king doesn't like fully believe yet, but there's kind of this skepticism or this like, maybe the God that Daniel's talking about is real. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's like, I don't even think the king knows what God the king is worshiping. Like he's still he's conflicted.
Yeah.
So, but he also probably feels bad. Like, this dude's a good dude. Okay. He worships something different than me.
Right.
Like why is that a big deal? Right. He's a good guy, whatever. But they're like, no, this is a law that you made.
Yeah.
So you got to follow your law, king. Like you got to do this. So he's like, fine. So, the king throws him in to the lion's den. Again, he's not excited about it. And I love that what happens the next day, super cool.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Daniel's in his prison with lions. I don't know about you, that'd be terrifying.
Would be terrifying. Yeah. Well, as he's thrown in, like after he was thrown into the den, the king said to him, may your God rescue you.
Yeah.
He was like, I feel like he was hopeful.
Yeah.
Wanting God to actually rescue him.
Yeah. It's one of those things like, maybe if he actually does this, I'll believe in him kind of.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm getting from this.
Right.
It's like, let's see one more little thing that God can do. Is your God strong enough? Like, is this a God that I want to believe in? Can he really protect you?
Yeah.
Like this God that you say he is? So I love that. And what is it? Very early the next morning, the king got up and he hurried out. Like he got up, went straight to the lion's den. And when he got there, he called out in English. I love that too. Like he called out in English, like, Daniel, servant of the living God, was your God whom is faithful to you? Did he rescue you from the lions? Like with English. I love that. I love that like language there.
Yeah.
That's how he feels.
Yeah.
He's feeling like nervous of like, what happened? Did he die? Is he gone? Did I do something? Did I just kill this guy just because he didn't believe in the same God as me? Like, this isn't cool. And then Daniel answered, yeah, the long living king, my God has sent his angels and shut the mouths of the lions and they cannot hurt me. I love that.
Yeah.
Like God just showing off, man. I love when God does these things, right? Pulling people out of the fire and there's nothing on them.
Yeah.
Shutting the mouths of the lions in the den. And then the king says this, he's overjoyed. Like
he didn't want him to die.
Yeah, exactly. But I love that, like, again, language is key. The king was overjoyed and ordered that Daniel be lifted out from the den. No scratches were found on him because he trusted in his God. And then the king gave orders to arrest the men that accused him originally.
Yep.
And then they were thrown and they were eaten by the lions.
Yep.
Sucks to suck, but you know, that's what happens when you mess with God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all this. And the last thing I love is that the king goes out and he says, I decree that everyone throughout my kingdom should tremble with fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and he will endure forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed and his rule will never end. I think that's so good coming from a king too. Like a king proclaiming a king above him. It's just, there's so much.
There's a lot of kings in the Bible who like kill other people if they don't believe in the same God as them, or if they worship someone other than them.
Yes.
So I think it's really cool to see a king that not only doesn't want to hurt somebody because they believe something different, but they in turn, in the end,
for sure,
end up believing the same thing.
Yeah. And I think that's like, again, this is a story to all of us. Like maybe, you know, God's going to show up in your life and do something. He's going to shut, you know, mouths of lions. He's going to do miraculous things. And, or maybe he's going to do it in your life. And when someone else sees that from the outside, it's going to change their life. It's just cool. So I love the story of Daniel. The whole rest of Daniel is amazing. So keep reading with us, keep tuning in, because Daniel's story is really interesting. There's this rise and fall, and it's just so good. So keep tuning in. We're almost done.
I know.
Like the year's almost over. This is weird.
We've been doing this for a long
time. It's about to be 2022, right?
Yeah.
Is that where we're going? Okay. I don't know what year it is, guys. We all know this year's been a blur, but at least the Bible gives us hope. It gives us things to look forward to, and it's just exciting to read. So keep reading with us, keep tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.